Numbers chapter 31. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Avenge the children of Israel on the Midianites. Afterward you shall be gathered to your people." Moses spoke to the people, saying, "Arm men from among you for war, that they may go against Midian to execute Yahweh's vengeance on Midian. You shall send 1,000 out of every tribe, throughout all the tribes of Israel, to the war." So there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel 1,000 from every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. Moses sent them, 1,000 of every tribe, to the war with Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest, to the war with the vessels of the sanctuary and the trumpets for the alarm in his hand. They fought against Midian. As Yahweh commanded Moses, they killed every male. They killed the kings of Midian with the rest of their slain, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam, the son of Beor, with the sword. The children of Israel took the women of Midian captive with their little ones, and all their livestock, all their flocks, and all their goods, they took as plunder. All their cities in the places in which they lived, and all their encampments, they burned with fire. They took all the captives and all the plunder, both of man and of animal. They brought the captives with the prey and the plunder to Moses and to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by the Jordan at Jericho. Moses and Eleazar the priest, with all the princes of the congregation, went out to meet them outside of the camp. Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the captains of thousands and the captains of hundreds, who came from the service of the war. Moses said to them, "Have you saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel, through the counsel of Balaam, to commit trespass against Yahweh in the matter of Peor, and so the plague was among the congregation of Yahweh. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known man by lying with him. But all the girls who have not known man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. Encamp outside of the camp for 7 days. Whoever has killed any person, and whoever has touched any slain, purify yourselves on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, you and your captives. You shall purify every garment, and all that is made of skin, and all work of goat's hair, and all things made of wood." Eleazar the priest said to the men of war who went to the battle, "This is the statute of the law which Yahweh has commanded Moses. However, the gold, and the silver, the bronze, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that may withstand the fire, you shall make to go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless it shall be purified with the water for impurity. All that doesn't withstand the fire you shall make to go through the water. You shall wash your clothes on the 7th day, and you shall be clean. Afterward you shall come into the camp." Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Count the plunder that was taken, both of man and of animal, you and Eleazar the priest, and the heads of the fathers' households of the congregation, and divide the plunder into 2 parts, between the men skilled in war, who went out to battle, and all the congregation. Levy a tribute to Yahweh of the men of war who went out to battle, 1 soul of 500, of the persons, of the cattle, of the donkeys, and of the flocks. Take it from their half, and give it to Eleazar the priest, for Yahweh's wave offering. Of the children of Israel's half, you shall take 1 drawn out of every 50, of the persons, of the cattle, of the donkeys, and of the flocks, of all the livestock, and give them to the Levites, who perform the duty of Yahweh's tabernacle." Moses and Eleazar the priest did as Yahweh commanded Moses. Now the plunder, over and above the booty which the men of war took, was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 head of cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 persons in all, of the women who had not known man by lying with him. The half, which was the portion of those who went out to war, was in number 337,500 sheep. And Yahweh's tribute of the sheep was 675. The cattle were 36,000, of which Yahweh's tribute was 72. The donkeys were 30,500, of which Yahweh's tribute was 61. The persons were 16,000, of whom Yahweh's tribute was 32 persons. Moses gave the tribute, which was Yahweh's wave offering, to Eleazar the priest, as Yahweh commanded Moses, of the children of Israel's half, which Moses divided off from the men who fought. Now the congregation's half was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 head of cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons, even of the children of Israel's half. Moses took one drawn out of every 50, both of man and of animal, and gave them to the Levites, who performed the duty of Yahweh's tabernacle, as Yahweh commanded Moses. The officers who were over the thousands of the army, the captains of thousands, and the captains of hundreds, came near to Moses. They said to Moses, "Your servants have taken the sum of the men of war who are under our command, and there lacks not one man of us. We have brought Yahweh's offering, what every man found, gold ornaments, armlets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and necklaces, to make atonement for our souls before Yahweh." Moses and Eleazar the priest took their gold, even all worked jewels. All the gold of the wave offering that they offered up to Yahweh, of the captains of thousands and of the captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. The men of war had taken booty, every man for himself. Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of meeting for a memorial for the children of Israel before Yahweh. Numbers chapter 32. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of livestock. They saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead. Behold, the place was a place for livestock. Then the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moses, and to Eleazar the priest, and to the princes of the congregation, saying, "Ataroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elealeh, Sebam, Nebo, and Beon, the land which Yahweh struck before the congregation of Israel, is a land for livestock. And your servants have livestock." They said, "If we have found favor in your sight, let this land be given to your servants for a possession. Don't bring us over the Jordan." Moses said to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, "Shall your brothers go to war while you sit here? Why do you discourage the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which Yahweh has given them? Your fathers did so when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up to the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, that they should not go into the land which Yahweh had given them. Yahweh's anger burned in that day, and he swore, saying, "Surely none of the men who came up out of Egypt, from 20 years old and upward, shall see the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, because they have followed Yahweh completely." Yahweh's anger burned against Israel, and he made them wander back and forth in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation who had done evil in Yahweh's sight was consumed. Behold, you have risen up in your father's place, an increase of sinful men, to increase the fierce anger of Yahweh toward Israel. For if you turn away from after him, he will yet again leave them in the wilderness, and you will destroy all these people. They came near to him and said, "We will build sheepfolds here for our livestock, and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will be ready armed to go before the children of Israel until we have brought them to their place. Our little ones shall dwell in the fortified cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our houses until the children of Israel have all received their inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond, because our inheritance has come to us on this side of the Jordan eastward." Moses said to them, "If you will do this thing, if you will arm yourselves to go before Yahweh to the war, and every one of your armed men will pass over the Jordan before Yahweh until he has driven out his enemies from before him, and the land is subdued before Yahweh. Then afterward you shall return and be clear of obligation to Yahweh and to Israel. Then this land shall be your possession before Yahweh. But if you will not do so, behold, you have sinned against Yahweh, and be sure your sin will find you out. Build cities for your little ones and folds for your sheep, and do that which has proceeded out of your mouth." The children of Gad and the children of Reuben spoke to Moses, saying, "Your servants will do as my Lord commands. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our livestock shall be there in the cities of Gilead. But your servants will pass over, every man who is armed for war, before Yahweh to battle, as my Lord says." So Moses commanded concerning them to Eleazar the priest, and to Joshua the son of Nun, and to the heads of the fathers' households of the tribes of the children of Israel. Moses said to them, "If the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over the Jordan, every man who is armed to battle before Yahweh, and the land is subdued before you, then you shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan." The children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, "As Yahweh has said to your servants, so will we do. We will pass over armed before Yahweh into the land of Canaan, and the possession of our inheritance shall remain with us beyond the Jordan." Moses gave to them, even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og king of Bashan, the land according to its cities and borders, even the cities of the surrounding land. The children of Gad built Dibon, Ataroth, Aroer, Atroth, Shopan, Jazer, Jogbehah, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fortified cities and folds for sheep. The children of Reuben built Heshbon, Elealeh, Kiriathaim, Nebo, and Baal-Meon, their names being changed, and Sibmah. Teheh gave other names to the cities which they built. The children of Mashir the son of Manasseh went to Gilead, took it, and dispossessed the Amorites who were therein. Moses gave Gilead to Mashir the son of Manasseh, and he lived therein. Jair the son of Manasseh went and took its villages, and called them Havoth-Jair. Nobah went and took Kenath and its villages, and called it Nobah after his own name. Numbers chapter 33. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, when they went out of the land of Egypt by their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. Moses wrote the starting points of their journeys by the commandment of Yahweh. These are their journeys according to their starting points. They traveled from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the next day after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians, while the Egyptians were burying all their firstborn, whom Yahweh had struck among them. Yahweh also executed judgments on their gods. The children of Israel traveled from Ramesses and encamped in Succoth. They traveled from Succoth and encamped in Etham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. They traveled from Etham and turned back to Pihahiroth, which is before Baal-Zephon, and they encamped before Migdol. They traveled from before Hahiroth and crossed through the middle of the sea into the wilderness. They went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham and encamped in Marah. They traveled from Marah and came to Elim. In Elim there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there. They traveled from Elim and encamped by the Red Sea. They traveled from the Red Sea and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. They traveled from the wilderness of Sin and encamped in Dophkah. They traveled from Dophkah and encamped in Alush. They traveled from Alush and encamped in Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They travelled from Rephidim and encamped in the wilderness of Sinai. They travelled from the wilderness of Sinai and encamped in Kibroth-Hattaavah. They travelled from Kibroth-Hattaavah and encamped in Hazeroth. They travelled from Hazeroth and encamped in Rithmah. They travelled from Rithmah and encamped in Rimmon-Perez. They travelled from Rimmon-Perez and encamped in Libnah. They travelled from Libnah and encamped in Rissah. They travelled from Rissah and encamped in Kehelatha. They travelled from Kehelatha and encamped in Mount Shepher. They travelled from Mount Shepher and encamped in Haradah. They travelled from Haradah and encamped in Makheloth. They travelled from Makheloth and encamped in Tahath. They travelled from Tahath and encamped in Terah. They travelled from Terah and encamped in Mithkah. They travelled from Mithkah and encamped in Hashmonah. They travelled from Hashmonah and encamped in Moseroth. They travelled from Moseroth and encamped in Bene Yaakan. They travelled from Bene Yaakan and encamped in Hor-Haggidgad. They travelled from Hor-Haggidgad and encamped in Jotbatha. They travelled from Jotbatha and encamped in Abronah. They travelled from Abronah and encamped in Etzion-Geber. They travelled from Etzion-Geber and encamped at Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. They travelled from Kadesh and encamped in Mount Hor, in the edge of the land of Edom. Aaron the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of Yahweh and died there, in the 40th year after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt, in the 5th month, on the 1st day of the month. Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the south in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. They travelled from Mount Hor and encamped in Zalmonah. They travelled from Zalmonah and encamped in Punon. They travelled from Punon and encamped in Oboth. They travelled from Oboth and encamped in Iye-Abarim in the border of Moab. They travelled from Iyim and encamped in Dibon-Gad. They travelled from Dibon-Gad and encamped in Almon-Diblathaim. They travelled from Almon-Diblathaim and encamped in the mountains of Abarim, before Nebo. They travelled from the mountains of Abarim and encamped in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. They encamped by the Jordan, from Beth-Jeshemoth even to Abel-Shittim in the plains of Moab. Yahweh spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and tell them, when you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, destroy all their stone idols, destroy all their molten images, and demolish all their high places. You shall take possession of the land and dwell therein. For I have given the land to you to possess it. You shall inherit the land by lot according to your families. To the larger groups you shall give a larger inheritance, and to the smaller you shall give a smaller inheritance. Wherever the lot falls to any man, that shall be his. You shall inherit according to the tribes of your fathers. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then those you let remain of them will be like pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will harass you in the land in which you dwell. It shall happen that as I thought to do to them, so I will do to you." Numbers chapter 34. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Command the children of Israel and tell them, when you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall to you for an inheritance, even the land of Canaan according to its borders. Then your south quarter shall be from the wilderness of Zin along by the side of Edom, and your south border shall be from the end of the salt sea eastward. Your border shall turn about southward of the ascent of Akrabim, and pass along to Zin, and it shall pass southward of Kadesh Barnea, and it shall go from there to Hazar-Adar, and pass along to Asmon. The border shall turn about from Asmon to the brook of Egypt, and it shall end at the sea. For the western border you shall have the great sea and its border. This shall be your west border. This shall be your north border. From the great sea you shall mark out for yourselves Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you shall mark out to the entrance of Hamath, and the border shall pass by Zedad. Then the border shall go to Ziphron, and it shall end at Hazar Enan. This shall be your north border. You shall mark out your east border from Hazar Enan to Shechem. The border shall go down from Shechem to Riblah, on the east side of Ain. The border shall go down, and shall reach to the side of the sea of Chinnereth eastward. The border shall go down to the Jordan, and end at the salt sea. This shall be your land, according to its borders around it. Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which you shall inherit by lot, which Yahweh has commanded to give to the 9 tribes and to the half-tribe, for the tribe of the children of Reuben, according to their fathers' houses, he tribe of the children of Gad, according to their fathers' houses, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half-tribe have received their inheritance beyond the Jordan at Jericho eastward, toward the sunrise. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, These are the names of the men who shall divide the land to you for inheritance, Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun. You shall take 1 prince of every tribe, to divide the land for inheritance. These are the names of the men, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh, of the tribe of the children of Simeon, Shemuel the son of Ammihud, of the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad the son of Chislon, of the tribe of the children of Dan a prince, Bukki the son of Jogli, of the children of Joseph, of the tribe of the children of Manasseh a prince, Haniel the son of Ephod, of the tribe of the children of Ephraim a prince, Kemuel the son of Shiptan, of the tribe of the children of Zebulun a prince, Elizaphan the son of Parnak, of the tribe of the children of Issachar a prince, Paltiel the son of Azan, of the tribe of the children of Asher a prince, Ahihud the son of Shelomi, of the tribe of the children of Naphtali a prince, Pedahel the son of Ammihud. These are they whom Yahweh commanded to divide the inheritance to the children of Israel in the land of Canaan. Numbers chapter 35. Yahweh spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel to give to the Levites cities to dwell in out of their inheritance. You shall give pasture lands for the cities around them to the Levites. They shall have the cities to dwell in. Their pasture lands shall be for their livestock, and for their possessions, and for all their animals. The pasture lands of the cities, which you shall give to the Levites, shall be from the wall of the city and outward 1,000 cubits around it. You shall measure outside of the city for the east side 2,000 cubits, and for the south side 2,000 cubits, and for the west side 2,000 cubits, and for the north side 2,000 cubits, the city being in the middle. This shall be the pasture lands of their cities. The cities which you shall give to the Levites, they shall be the 6 cities of refuge, which you shall give for the manslayer to flee to. Besides them, you shall give 42 cities. All the cities which you shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities together with their pasture lands. Concerning the cities which you shall give of the possession of the children of Israel, from the many you shall take many, and from the few you shall take few. Every one according to his inheritance which he inherits shall give some of his cities to the Levites. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them, When you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall appoint for yourselves cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who kills any person unwittingly may flee there. The cities shall be for your refuge from the avenger, that the manslayer not die until he stands before the congregation for judgment. The cities which you shall give shall be for you 6 cities of refuge. You shall give 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and you shall give 3 cities in the land of Canaan. They shall be cities of refuge. These 6 cities shall be refuge for the children of Israel, for the stranger, and for the foreigner living among them, that everyone who kills any person unwittingly may flee there. But if he struck him with an instrument of iron, so that he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. If he struck him with a stone in the hand, by which a man may die, and he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Or if he struck him with a weapon of wood in the hand, by which a man may die, and he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. The avenger of blood shall himself put the murderer to death. When he meets him, he shall put him to death. If he shoved him out of hatred, or hurled something at him while lying in wait, so that he died, or in hostility struck him with his hand, so that he died, he who struck him shall surely be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of blood shall put the murderer to death when he meets him. But if he shoved him suddenly without hostility, or hurled on him anything without lying in wait, or with any stone by which a man may die, not seeing him, and cast it on him so that he died, and he was not his enemy, and not seeking his harm, then the congregation shall judge between the striker and the avenger of blood, according to these ordinances. The congregation shall deliver the manslayer out of the hand of the avenger of blood, and the congregation shall restore him to his city of refuge, where he had fled. He shall dwell therein until the death of the high priest, who was anointed with the holy oil. But if the manslayer shall at any time go beyond the border of his city of refuge where he flees, and the avenger of blood finds him outside of the border of his city of refuge, and the avenger of blood kills the manslayer, he shall not be guilty of blood, because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer shall return into the land of his possession. These things shall be for a statute and ordinance to you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoever kills any person, the murderer shall be slain based on the testimony of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify alone against any person so that he dies. Moreover, you shall take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death. He shall surely be put to death. You shall take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge, that he may come again to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. So, you shall not pollute the land where you live, for blood pollutes the land. No atonement can be made for the land for the blood that is shed in it, but by the blood of him who shed it. You shall not defile the land which you inhabit where I dwell, for I, Yahweh, dwell among the children of Israel. Numbers chapter 36. The heads of the fathers' households of the family of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spoke before Moses and before the princes, the heads of the fathers' households of the children of Israel. They said, Yahweh commanded my Lord to give the land for inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. My Lord was commanded by Yahweh to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, to his daughters. If they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of our fathers, and will be added to the inheritance of the tribe to which they shall belong. So, it will be taken away from the lot of our inheritance. When the Jubilee of the children of Israel comes, then their inheritance will be added to the inheritance of the tribe to which they shall belong. So their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Moses commanded the children of Israel according to Yahweh's word, saying, The tribe of the sons of Joseph speak what is right. This is the thing which Yahweh commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them be married to whom they think best, only they shall marry into the family of the tribe of their father. So shall no inheritance of the children of Israel move from tribe to tribe, for the children of Israel shall all keep the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. Every daughter who possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife to one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may each possess the inheritance of his fathers. So shall no inheritance move from one tribe to another tribe, For the tribes of the children of Israel shall each keep his own inheritance. The daughters of Zelophehad did as Yahweh commanded Moses. For Mahlah, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to their father's brothers' sons. They were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. Their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father. These are the commandments and the ordinances which Yahweh commanded by Moses to the children of Israel. In the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. You have just completed the book of Numbers. Israel's wilderness journey from Sinai to the edge of the Promised Land teaches us about faith, rebellion, and God's patience. Despite failures, God remained faithful to his promises. May you trust God even in your wilderness seasons. God bless you.